Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And a couple of shows ago, I did some testing of this Radio Shack antenna. It's a multi-band antenna. You can't buy them anymore, except maybe on eBay you might find one. And it worked out pretty good, so I was going to show you some more information about it and some of my other antennas. Here is a website, and I'll put the link to this page in the description below this video. Here is the construction of one of these antennas. This one shows using 4 wires. I believe that's what was in the Radio Shack one I tested. And then it goes to a connector which goes to your coax cable, etc. Now I believe what this is showing is 4 individual wires. What the Radio Shack has, which is convenient, is it has a flat cable with 4 wires in it. It's a flat cable, so you can like strip off each of the 4 wires, and it's in a dipole, which is called an inverted V antenna. I think this one is just showing you just a long wire antenna because it doesn't show the other leg. And then each of these wires are a certain length to resonate at different bands. Now, here is the analyzer I use. This is the MFJ 226 analyzer. It's good from 1 to 230 megahertz. This is the analyzer I used in this video back here. This guy right here. Now what I have, I've copied the files and the software that works with this analyzer up to my office so that I can show you some plots, because you can save the plots and then read them back in. So here we go. So here's the program on your PC that will work with that analyzer. Pretty cool stuff. And so you can do a plot, and then you can say save the file, and then you can do another plot and save the file, and you can compare antennas that way. Plus, the other thing I want to do is I want to see the effects of moving that Radio Shack antenna around, moving, because I got a lot of wires up there already. Just see what the effect is. Now this plot is not of that antenna. This plot is of my MFJ 31-foot vertical antenna, which does a fantastic job. Let me see if I can quickly find that antenna on the MFJ website. I don't know if I can find it real quick or not. Do I dare search on vertical antenna? I didn't think about doing this ahead of time. I should have. Okay, vertical. It's $100, $99, and of course it doesn't show up. Oh, Jesus! Why doesn't it show up? I don't see it. I wonder what else it would have been called. Okay, let's go to list products. Gosh, I didn't mean to go analyzer antennas. Didn't mean to take this long. See if we got vertical. No, vertical doesn't show up. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a dummy I am. I may have to start this video over. Yeah, I can't find it. But anyway, it's a vertical antenna. It's a 31-foot telescopic fiberglass pole with a wire running from the top to the bottom down to a matching transformer box or balun. All right, let's get off of that. It's a waste of time. I was over here. So here is the software that comes with that analyzer that you run on your PC. And like I was saying before I got way off the track here, this is the plot of the MFJ 31-foot vertical. You can see it's very clean, very symmetrical. It's down at 1.3 at 7.5 megahertz, and then it's up to 9.73 and then back down to 4.7. Now what they said is that it's set up for 40 meters, which is 7 plus megahertz. So that would be back here. And it's right in there, right in here. That's what it's designed for. And then it says if you want to use some of these other frequencies, you have to use a antenna, what's the word I'm looking for? Antenna matching device. What the heck? Yeah, tuner. Antenna tuner. Whoa, it's hell to get old. Wow. Now, what I can do is I can load from a file. Now, normally what you would do is you'd have your analyzer connected and have this software running, and it'll be plotting real time, updating real time the plot. So, and then you could save it. So I've saved a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to load a file, and unfortunately it doesn't go to the directory I wanted to go to. So I have to go download antenna. There's all the testing I've done over the years, as back as far as, well, some of this is not antenna testing. I can see right here. Like 2017, I guess, is when I got the analyzer. So up here, I just did this today to have the data. Here's the Radio Shack, so I'm going to load that. We're kind of all over the place. And this antenna is not for transmit. You'd have to use one of those antenna things I talked about, tuners, one of those antenna tuners to use this to transmit, and still probably not a very good idea to transmit, but it's good for receiving. So you can kind of look at this plot. There's a nice low spot, whoops, right there. That's 1.37 at 8 megahertz. Another one is right there at 9.3. There's another one at 12.7. There's another one right there, 21. So you can kind of see, this is SWR, of course, so you can kind of see what that antenna does compared to the MFJ one. And this is supposed to be, multi-band antenna. The MFJ is tuned for 40 meters, but it will, as you saw from the plot, it'll work pretty good for reception on other bands. So I got some other files here. Let me see what else I got. I have to go to desktop, and I have to go to downloads, antenna files. Here's some testing that I did with a, as a matter of fact, there's a couple of them. I did with that 40 to 6 meter OCF, off-centered frequency antenna. I had a couple of those. I'm trying to see if I marked it. I had one of those. I haven't actually done a test with my analyzer with that one. And that's the newer one I got this year from MFJ, which is an InFed. It's an InFed. Do I see anything about here's an InFed, but that was tested way back last year, so that wouldn't be it. So here's the Slinky antenna that I put up, and I tested it. Let me just see what it looks like. You'll have to go back to October of 2017 to see my show on that one. But here's the Slinky antenna, very, very unusual SWR for it. There's a low point there of 1.56 at 6 megahertz, and here's another one over here at 1.13 at 18, and then there's here one at 2.98 is 1.275, and then it really goes up. It's not too bad. It goes up to about 11, around 10, most of the bands. And again, it's a receiving antenna. It's not for transmitting. So this tool, let me see if I don't think I have it up anymore. I think I lost that. Yeah, I lost that when I started doing that, searching for that antenna. Okay, well, here it is. I don't see my review. Gee whiz. I feel bad about that. My review doesn't show up down here under videos. Anyway, the analyzer, like here's one you can get it from Gigaparts, and it's $329. So it's not cheap, but it works super, especially with this software where you have this plot running real time, and then you're like, okay, let me capture that. You can tell it to save the file. You got it permanently. You can go back and load it like I did. Again, what I'd like to do is set this up, do another plot without the disturbance, just kind of as a reference, because I noticed the plot. Let me go back. Load file. The plot that I saved today for this was slightly different than the measurements I made yesterday. I didn't bring the measurements up with me, but I checked them while I was looking at this downstairs, and they were a little bit different. Not a lot, but a little, like SWR of 8 at 5 megahertz instead of 9 something like I got yesterday. A little difference. And my question is, how much of an effect on this antenna does it have by where it is? And I'm talking on SWR, not talking on listening. I'm talking about on SDR. We, of course, know that if you move these antennas around when you're listening, it's going to have a big effect. Unless it's a vertical antenna, then the effect is smaller. I think that's about all I wanted to show you. Yeah, that's it. Pretty cool. If you, of all the antennas that I've got, which I have probably 100, not all up, of course. If you go back to some of my shows, and I did some testing with the antenna, and I didn't do this I didn't test it with the analyzer. If you want me to go back and test it with the analyzer, I'll be glad to do that. If I can find the antenna, if I haven't given it away or whatever. Anyway, if you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up, and have a great day. Bye-bye.